9-point gap over the men from Humberside. That would be significant with 12 rounds of the competition to go after this. They've not lost any of their last 10 in the League and Cup against Hull, though, and in Super League it's 13 wins and a draw from 18 summer clashes. Hull, though, their most recent victory over Leeds, March 2002, 38 points to 6 at the old Boulevard ground. This is the way the champions line up. Mathers is the fullback, Calderwood, Walker, Senior and Bye. Walker returning to the side after injury. Sinfield captain alongside little Rob Burrow. The forwards Bailey, Duneman and Ward, Jones, Buchanan, McKenna and Gareth Ellis. And on the bench it's Maguire, McDermott, Lauatiti and Poaching. That's a formidable four to bring on by coach Tony Smith. Now the men from Hull, Briscoe is their full-back, then it's Blacklock, Saxton, Yeeman and Rayner. Whiting is injured. Cook and Horn captains the side at scrum half. The forwards Dowes, once of Leeds, Brough and King, Horn, Kearney and McMenemy. And the bench is occupied by Thackeray, another former Leeds man, Carvel, Dixon and Washbrook. And the coach is John Keir. There is a third former Leeds man in this Hull team as well, that's Gareth Rayner. Just 3 substitute appearances for them in the year 2000. The black and whites out and on the field and waiting for this game to start. And a fair contingent of travelling support has arrived with them as well. But they will be drowned out now as the South Stand and Headingley rise to greet the Leeds Rhinos. They lost for only the second time this season against St Helens last Friday, and coincidentally they bounced back from their second defeat in 2004. That was at Wigan, with a 28-24 win against Hull here on this ground. A great night though, fantastic arena for rugby league this is, the Headingley ground, and everyone this evening, Steve, in great voice.
Certainly are, the pressure, the atmosphere, you can cut with a knife, and I do know that both these sides would have worked extremely hard during the week. 2 shock losses, they were really hammered, both outfits, so nerves will play its part, but who will have the mental strength?
The black and whites need a good start, and it's a high-hanging kick-off. And taking charge of the situation, Richard Mathers, who tips the ball in to Chris McKenna. And Hull with a good chase, led by Paul King, and also in there quickly Graham Horn. Duneman to Sinfield, who runs straight at Graham Horn again. And with Paul King combines once more to bring the lead skipper down. This now is Danny Ward. 30 metres away from his own line, Ward. And here is Jamie Jones Buchanan. A hat-trick last week at St Helens in the 38-24 defeat. Ryan Bailey now for Leeds, gets them up to the halfway line at the end of this first set of 6. Expect the kick then here from Kevin Sinfield. Brough was there to try and charge it down. It's a high hanger, and Briscoe gets underneath it under pressure from Mark Calderwood.
Great defence from the Hull side. They really had getting into the face of this Leeds outfit we mentioned last week against St Helens. That's what they did against the Rhinos, and I must say that they looked a little bit lost at times. I'm sure that Tony Smith had been working on that, but it didn't surprise me that they played safety first there. Just one drive and then the kick.
Graham Hallsbourne finds McMenemy. He's enveloped in the tackle by Sinfield and Bailey. Here now is Stephen Kearney. He was remarkably quiet against the Bradford Bulls last week. The man who has won 44 caps for New Zealand. That's the last tackle. There's the kick downfield from Danny Brough. It's a good kick too, because Mathers will have to collect it behind his own line. Good chase, brilliant chase led by Danny Brough. Well, it's a brighter start than last Saturday night.
Oh, what a mistake there.
And Hull looking immediately to try and capitalise. Graham Horn.
Well, it looked like Ellis just took his eye off the football there.
And here now is Kirk Yeeman. Golden opportunity for Hull right at the start of this match. 2 minutes gone, 0-0, but Hull in possession, deep in Leeds territory. And here is McMenemy again. It's a big test of the Leeds Rhinos defence early on. McMenemy gets the ball away.
Play on.
Oh, and Leeds have got it back.
Certainly has. Well, surely someone should get rid of that beach ball that's been just lying behind the in-goal area. It can be very dangerous. There it is. Will someone get rid of it? We normally have so many water carriers over there.
Bailey gets to his feet and plays the ball to Duneman. He now can lead in the shape of Marcus Bai. Interesting talking, Phil Clark and I were on Wednesday to our guest in boots and all, another Papua New Guinean.
John Wilshire came down, didn't he? Was a guest on boots and all.
Indeed so, and he said that it was Marcus Bai who was a great hero, probably the best Papua New Guinean that has ever played the game of rugby league, in his opinion. This is Stephen Kearney now. Hull have got the ball back.
Interesting to see how Kearney concentrating on playing rugby league football.
Ewan Dowes.
Against Bradford last week, he just seemed to want to just get a squared up. Obviously, something left over from that Challenge Cup game.
Well, it's a very lush surface at Headingley here, it always is, and Richard Horne takes a tumble. Second Hull player to do that, but that's a good ball out wide from Paul Cook. And an offload there to Stephen Kearney. That was by Tom Saxton. Ball in the in-goal area, but far too deep. Now there's no trouble with that.
Well, he'll be a little bit nervous, Tony Smith, and so will this fella, John Keir, mainly due to the fact that there's been so many errors. Both sides very jittery.
Well, Steve, they made a poor start, didn't they, last week at St Helens, and never really recovered from it. I suppose the difference there was the speed with which St Helens had around that ruck area, which Kieran Cunningham exploited to the full. At least when Leeds are defending, they're trending to control the whole ball carrier a little bit better tonight.
Sinfield will attack the line. That's a good ball to Jamie Jones-Buchanan, but well watched by Shane McMenemy. Sinfield in at dummy half. The ball fed wide to Keith Senior. John Keir, of course, knows all about Keith Senior because he had him in 1998 for the Sheffield Eagles when they scored that remarkable Challenge Cup victory over Wigan at Wembley. Senior was part and parcel of that. But Hull now will get the turnover because Leeds caught in possession on the last tackle.
Well, I can't believe that. I think that probably only the second time I've seen this season that Leeds have lost their way, lost the plot, and not opted to get the kick away. Nervous times, Eddie.
Ewan Dowes plays the ball 40 metres away from his own line. This is Paul Cook. Now Graham Horne plays the ball there to Kirk Yeaman, and Yeaman straightens it up, hand straight in the face of Gareth Ellis, who did well to hang on with Bailey. And Richard Horne will pump the ball downfield, and that will stand up in the in-goal area. And here is Richard Mathers. Kevin Sinfield darts away from dummy half. It goes wide to Marcus Bai. And this barrel of a man, Marcus Bai, great athleticism though to get the ball off the ground to Duneman. Rob Burrow waits at dummy half. Here is Chris McKenna. Chev Walker made the dummy run.
Again, solid defence from the black and whites. Certainly not taking any dummies.
Danny Ward gets Leeds to the halfway line. Duneman looks and finds Sinfield. He bounces off one tackle, gets it away to Mathers. And Mathers will try and attack down the left channel with Senior again, who cuts infield. The tackle originally is missed, and he gets the ball away to Sinfield. And Sinfield will clip it downfield, looking for the speed of Calderwood. Rayner is there. Rayner against Calderwood and Walker, and Rayner does well. Right, let's get down to Dave Hadfield in the press benches. Man of the match. It could be a difficult choice tonight, Dave.
Tony Smith has done a lot to say this week in praise of Jamie Jones-Buchanan. He underlined his improvement with a hat-trick at St Helens. Didn't get a watch or a win for his trouble. Chev Walker's back in the centres, which allows Chris McKenna to move next to Jones-Buchanan, his favourite role in the pack. And that second row could be an area of strength for Leeds tonight, with Ali Lauitiiti and Willie Poaching poised on the bench to come into the game later. Hull were out-muscled by Bradford in the forwards last week, so players like Paul King, Stephen Kearney, Shane McMenemy, when he gets on, Jamie Thackeray, were doubly determined to make the mark. Significant that King starts in his best position of prop. He'll be happier, but it's a big ask of Danny Brough, who was in National League 2 last year, to be started as hooker at the home of the reigning champions.
Indeed so, but Hull have made a good fist of the opening 7 minutes of this. Brian Noble of the Bradford Bulls is with us. Is it going as you thought, Brian?
I think Hull benefited from a couple of errors with the ball for Leeds, but Leeds look a whole lot more vigorous than they did last week. I think if you look at their defence, they're up there, they're in their face, they're like a rash all over Hull. And I think the quality of Leeds with these flowing movements now are going to take their toll on Hull.
This is Marcus Bai, he had to take the tackle, he looked round the corner, there was no one coming in the second phase, probably too quick for them. This now is Kevin Sinfield. He bounces off Paul King, and Sinfield continues the run.
Back to 6.
It is, and it's wide to Senior, and Senior will score the first Leeds try. Referee hasn't given it yet, though. He wants the video referee, Bob Connolly, to have a look and see how the ball came clear, whether it was touched in flight and what happened.
Well, I said before the kick-off, Eddie, they would target Nathan Blacklock, and they've certainly done that. The man who finishes up scoring the try, Senior, he really has been a thorn in their side, and that to me was deliberately hit by a Hull player. And from this point there, you see it, it looks as though Richard Horne got a fingertip to it. So that's play on.
You don't think there's a knock-on by the Leeds man, by Jamie Jones-Buchanan?
No, it's in his shoulder. Was
That's
touched.
what they're looking at.
Well, it touches Richard Horne, fingers there, just deflects it enough, and it comes off the shoulder. This is TRY for mine.
I think it is try, Steve, and I think it's one of many we'll see on the left-hand side for Leeds tonight here. Keith Senior, Marcus Bai, and that whole left channel is a dangerous one for the Rhinos.
Question mark maybe about the final pass wide, but they can't look at that on the video referee, and the try is given to Leeds and Keith Senior. So the champions off to a great start. 12 tries before tonight, and that's his 11th try for Leeds against Hull over the past 5 years, would you believe?
Good play by the skipper, Kevin Sinfield. They allowed him to run from the dummy half position. As soon as it went astray, you can see there was no one at home. He's not the best positional player in the world, Nathan Blacklock, but they had a little bit of a luck with it there. Bounced away. No man's land. Senior fully deserved that. He's made about 2 or 3 little half breaks as the big centre.
Leeds Player of the Year in 2003. Keith Senior with the try. Kevin Sinfield with this goal attempt, and he has scored it. And that goal takes Kevin Sinfield to 100 for the year in all competitions. There's the try scorer, Keith Senior. But for Kevin Sinfield, he is now 8th on the all-time Leeds points chart.
There you see it, Blacklock having to take the man, his opposite, bang, overlap. Much to the delight of this packed crowd. Well, it'll be a bitter blow to John Keir and the Hull players, who looked pretty solid. Their defence was looking good. Maybe a little bit of lady luck, just going the Rhinos' way.
6-0 to Leeds, and just to emphasise that point about Kevin Sinfield, 8th now on the all-time Leeds point-scoring chart. He's gone ahead of David Creaser. This is Ryan Bailey, targeting Richard Horne. Stood his ground well, did the Hull captain, with a little bit of help from Tom Saxton and McMenemy. He was pulled down. Here is Senior again. Saxton's got it all on tonight to hold on to him.
Eddie, yeah, there is no sympathy in sport, but if you had to have any tonight, it's got to be for Tom Saxton. He's possibly got the hardest job there out on the field, trying to contain Big Keith Senior.
Well, he never made any attempt there to get away from the man wanting to play the ball. No hesitation from the man with the whistle, Richard Silverwood.
Richard Horne penalised.
It was another problem that they had. Hull at their own ground last week against Bradford gave away silly penalties time and time again, and in fact leading that was the second rower, Stephen Kearney. He's got to make sure. John Keir has to get a message out saying, look, you cannot give away silly penalties against a side like Leeds. We know what they're capable of.
And Wigan are ahead against London. Here Leeds are ahead against Hull, and it's Leeds in charge again with Jamie Jones-Buchanan. After his hat-trick last week, he really will be looking for the try line. Jamie Jones-Buchanan. This now is Sinfield again. He finds Danny Ward on his inside.
Tremendous play yet again from the skipper. He's leading controlling things out there.
Here
Wants
he
it
is
all
again.
the time.
Here he is again. Sinfield drop on the shoulder, and the ball picked up by Blacklock. Well, we know what this fella can do, but again he just lost his footing. Or was it an ankle tap over on that far side?
Sort of half an ankle tap, and I think he just lost his footing as well. Combination of both, but that looked as if going to be a try all over. And again, the amount of work that Kevin Sinfield has done already in the first 11 minutes is outstanding.
Paul Cook will play the ball, scamper away, but Danny Ward was equal to the task then from Danny Brough. Here is Cook again. Some youngsters coming into this Hull side tonight. Brough, not so much young as inexperienced at this level, I suppose. There's Graham Horn, there's Kirk Dixon and Danny Washbrook waiting on the bench as well. This is Richard Mathers now.
I just get the feeling that the Hull defenders now are just dropping off the man that's carrying the football.
They haven't dropped off him there. That was Marcus Bye. It took 3 though to bring him down. And here is Dooneman on halfway, and he finds Gareth Ellis. And Ellis thought about the offload to Bailey, but took the tackle himself in the end. Been all Leeds, hasn't it, in this first half so far? Burrow to Walker. And Graham Horn, well, Graham Horn thought the tackle was completed. Richard Silverwood didn't. There'll be an element of controversy about this if Calderwood scores. This now is Dooneman. Dooneman to Burrow. Burrow then to Sinfield. Leeds flooding forward. This is Ellis. He offloads to Bailey. And Bailey looking to muscle his way to the line on the last tackle now. It's with Sinfield at dummy half. He'll slide the kick in looking for Rob Burrow. They're going to get another set of 6.
Great work there by Paul Cook.
Cook to the rescue.
Certainly had to be as well. And again, you see that man just conducting everything. There's maybe a hint of a forward there. You could see there that Chev Walker, it's a move that Leeds utilise a lot. Not coming straight onto the ball, but coming back into the angle. But it was certainly a forward. It wasn't
and the referee made the right decision, Chev Walker.
He certainly did.
Goal line dropout then for Hull, and only to the 40-metre line with Richard Mathers. Here comes Jamie Jones Buchanan now. Dooneman, and Dooneman to Bailey. And Dooneman waits the dummy half. Back it comes to Sinfield. It's with Rob Burrow. There's space here for them to exploit. They will now with McKenna. Just hauled down. Dooneman, 8 metres away, fires the pass to Sinfield, takes the return brilliantly. That's going to be 6 to go.
Yeah.
We'll have to come back for the knock-on.
Yeah. Blacklock. Just could see that Mark Calder would have come away, and very sportingly throws the
Referee
ball
convinced
to him.
here that Richard Horn played at the ball and he got it right again.
I'm not so sure.
And it's probably worth explaining that defending near your own line tires you twice as much as any defensive work you've got to do throughout the rest of the field. So even if Leeds don't score in this next passage, you can see the fatigue, even at this stage, setting into the Hull players.
Shane McMenemy has taken a blow underneath his own posts.
Well, he's been one of their stars this year, and they can ill afford to get the loose forward being taken from the field of play. There you see Tony Smith conducting things from
our studio, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, he's a welcome guest in our studio at all times. He'll be with us tomorrow night for the match at, or on Sunday night rather, for the match at Bradford.
Maybe just practicing, Eddie. Well, I'm pleased to say that the beach ball has gone. I was wondering at one point whether the beach ball was some sort of offering to make the sun come out. It hasn't worked.
Okay, leave him, Graham. Leave him.
This is Gareth Ellis, who will play the ball to Dooneman, who'll find Danny Ward.
Second clear.
And Dooneman waits again. Leeds are just a couple of metres away. They come back to give it a bit of angle for Burrow, and Burrow will press the foot down on the accelerator. Couple of dummies, and then he gets it out to Calderwood, who'll jink back inside. Couldn't get away from Paul Cook or McMenemy, though, is fully recovered again. Burrow to Walker. They're having to do a lot of defending here, just to emphasise that point that Phil Clark made just a few moments ago. Sinfield with a raking pass to Mathers. Mathers goes through the gap.
Oh, they're looking right down the barrel of Hull now. Leeds are
They are now.
with the best around, Richard Horne. I think they'll tap this. They're in that mood. I don't think they'll go for the two. They reckon they've got Hull well and truly on the rack.
And that's what they do. And here is Ryan Bailey, looking for a crucial second try after 15.5 minutes. Duneman to Sinfield to Burrow. McKenna takes over and will run the angle. 10 metres away though, he's closed down but still won't hit the deck. Now he does. Only 2 tackles gone, so there's plenty in store here for Leeds as Duneman fires the pass to Walker. That's a great tackle though in defence, and it was by Kirk Yeeman, I think. This is Sinfield, and Sinfield wide to Mathers, tries to step inside Richard Horne, gets the ball back. It was offside, surely. Accidental offside.
Yeah. Leeds crowd don't like it, but he's got it spot on. Well, trying perhaps a little bit too much, trying to be fancy. Certainly ricocheted off, but
it was Mathers' foot, or was it Richard Horne?
It's hard to say, but it's pretty difficult. You see the referee just coming around underneath the post. Great relief, though, I must say. Really no... Yeah, he got his foot to it. Got it absolutely spot on.
It's Stephen Kearney with possession then just inside the Leeds half of the field. Richard Horne now. Short ball, Ewan Dowes. Good defence there from Chris McKenna. Now then, Paul Cook. Here's Yeeman. Oh, Danny Ball.
Yeah, he'll be penalised for that one. Well, I'm not so sure that Chris McKenna was doing the right thing by congratulating him. He was slipping, but it was a cruncher. Yeeman felt it. Just seen slip here, bang, but he had him in the zone, didn't he? Took aim, made contact.
Just swinging a bit, and John Keir, I think, has sent the message down that anything that is within kickable range of the post, they will have the penalty and have the 2 points. Brian Noble.
I think it's the right decision as well. Normally you'd be tempted to carry on the start of the game, build a bit of pressure. Hull haven't had the ball. They had 4 defensive sets on their own line. They get a breather, they get to regroup, they get to restart the game. They're 1 score behind. I think this is the right decision. We've already slowed it down considerably here, and all the Hull players are getting a breather. Leeds still look very, very vigorous in defence, and I think that'll pay them benefits towards the end of this game.
Danny Brough is the man who's taking the first goal kick for Hull. And he's just shaved the post with it. Well, Danny Brough scored a touchline goal against the Bulls last week. Much more difficult than that. He was just inches away from scoring there. John Keir just looks a little concerned, but they're going to get the ball back because they'll get the dropout from the 20-metre mark.
Well, as Brian Noble has explained, Hull really needed a breather, try to stop the momentum that the Rhinos had got. As you say, this should be a long one, and it is.
Now they've had that breather, though. They need to start to punch some holes into this Leeds defence. They need to basically up their intensity with the ball because they're not hurting Leeds enough when they have it.
London have hit the front against Wigan. Ian Millwood's first home match in charge. It's 12-6 to the London Broncos. Here is Gareth Carvell. That's a good ball to Richard Horne. He's made the break. Briscoe's supporting him on his inside. Here is Briscoe, and Briscoe over under the sticks for Hull. The scores are going to be level here at Headingley in a moment. Briscoe with the try, Horne with the break. And that has sent the Hull supporters into a state of frenzy.
Neat
Former
little
Wigan
pass.
fullback.
Neat little pass, put Horne through that gap. Look at this bang. You can see there Duneman really didn't hit the mark. Ooh, nearly blew it, did Horne. Briscoe had to reach right back for this. Duneman hesitates, should have been in that gap. Really should have filled it to stop this guy. But what a take from Sean Briscoe. Against the run of play, you take the chance. Remember, young Danny Brough missed the opportunity to get 2 from the dropout. Hull have turned that. 2 points missed, and surely this will turn into 6. Great play.
Yes, the England international Sean Briscoe missed the defeat by Leeds in February. But he has been in great form, both in defence and attack. Brough to level the scores. Makes no mistake from there. Ball thumped out of the ground from the conversion. It's 6 apiece at Headingley.
Duneman moves in. He should have been right in front of Richard Hall. And by the time the cover defence got to him, he had to lean back. But what a try from this fella.
Great try from Briscoe, 22 years of age, another of the bright young things in the Super League. And Leeds, well, they lost only twice in their 35 games at Headingley. In their last 35 games at Headingley. They were unbeaten here last year, but they crashed 28-44 to Wakefield at Easter. Hull will be encouraged by that try. They who are in possession again, and the ball is slipped away by Tom Saxton. The tackle not completed on Danny Brough. Now it is. Saxton again from dummy half. Bailey gets the tackle in. Wigan back to within 2 points of the Broncos. 6-all here, 21 minutes on the clock. Brough, back it goes to Richard Hall. Big hoof downfield, but that's straight into Mather's arms. Sinfield waits the dummy half. Wide it goes to Keith Senior.
Well, that really has lifted the black and whites, hasn't it? They were a little bit sluggish. They were falling off the man carrying the football. Leeds looked as though they had it all under control. And it was really just trying to force the pass when they were in a good position, way down in the attacking quarter of this Hull side. Remember, they gave away that silly penalty for accidental offside when they should have been looking for position.
Remember, Hull took Leeds all the way, and that was a leading arm by Ryan Bailey. It looked from up here.
Certainly was. The official had a good look.
And he had a glance at the touch judge as well. Burrow was clattered by Paul Cook after the ball had gone. Ryan Bailey's taken exception to that.
Well, the touch judge has not come on, so it's play on. That looks very high, straight into the chest. Definitely rose the elbow.
And Cook and Bailey continuing the debate. Well, that has lifted the temperature. 2 incidents there. And Hull have a penalty.
They've been sucked in. The Rhinos, they like to be on the rampage, and they are losing their cool. This should have been a penalty, no doubt about it.
The touch judge is on now.
Ryan Bailey then came in. No punches were thrown, just faced off against one man.
He's talking about the Ryan Bailey incident.
No, I think he's talking about the fact that Ryan Bailey and Paul Cook were having a go at each other.
Oh, I see, because it was Ryan Bailey that certainly lifted the arm. And it was a bit of a powder cake there.
All they've got is just put pressure on the kicker. Okay, he hasn't followed through and hit him. Okay, he's just put pressure on him. I don't need you coming in and taking law into your own hands. Okay, we've got a penalty down here.
Well,
the touch judge has got it wrong. He has told the official with a whistle, he's gone on there and said that he didn't follow through. He did follow through, he made good contact right with the raised arm.
Well,
they've got it wrong.
Well, it's 50-50 because there was a bit of contact by Bailey earlier on. Here is Carvel. Horn. Oh, that's fumbled. Oh, but went backwards. Mr. Silverwood is riling the South Standers.
Well, he's sending them into a panic at the moment, both the touch judge. It's a brave one as well, because the touch judge is right on this side underneath the South Stand. And listen to him.
That's what the report was about. The penalty not given for that. It was for another incident further downfield.
Now, if Leeds are silly enough to start rolling the sleeves up and saying, let's have a fight, it will just play into the whole side's hands.
Bailey with a big hit on Briscoe. Here goes Danny Brough. Good run from dummy half by Brough. And Blacklock's in support. And Blacklock for Hull under the sticks. What a break from little Danny Brough. What support from Nathan Blacklock. And Hull have turned the game around in the last last couple of minutes.
What a try. They don't come much better than this. Danny Brough, he would have been absolutely shaking in his boots when he missed that easy penalty, but he has repaid it. Very slack. Ward failed to fill into the huge gap, and what support from Nathan Blacklock. He's come in from the wing, he's down a central position. It's obviously a planned move. He knew exactly what Brough was going to do, run from the dummy half. He was skirting on the inside.
Nathan Blacklock then. That takes him into double figures for the season. The former Australian international, and now Danny Brough, formerly with the York Dragons. And another ball goes out of the ground, but high over the top of the crossbar, and Hull lead by 12 points to 6.
There you see Brough with the ball, and look at the positioning of the winger Blacklock. This is quite superb. Keeps his cool. He knew he was there. Bang. They're pretty quiet in the South Stand at the moment.
They're not, the Hull fans. And what a turnaround, Brian Noble, in this match.
I think Leeds was slightly distracted. I don't waver from the fact I think Leeds will go on with this game, because they do look vigorous, but they've let the element of energy and enthusiasm boil over a little bit, and they've been slightly distracted with a couple of incidents around the penalties and forgot their jobs in and around the ruck. So Danny Brough scootled out of there, found himself Blacklock on the inside, and all of a sudden Hull in front. 2 plays. I'd like a stat on the last time. Every time that Richard Hall makes a break, Sean Briscoe gets on the end of it. Goodness gracious me, but Hull are in front now, and this will give them the energy to go on with this game. But I still think Leeds are showing them more vigour.
Some important and significant changes maybe by the 2 coaches. We've seen that Gareth Carvell has come on for Hull, so too does Jamie Thackeray, and number 11 Ali Lawatiti is there, also with Willie Poaching. This is the last tackle for Hull. Those 2 changes, of course, by Tony Smith for Leeds. And that's a great kick. Marcus Bai has got to run this ball out. Oh, and he does.
Traditionally, Eddie, it's the changes that Leeds have been able to make off the bench that have separated them from their opponents here this season. The size, the strength, the speed and the skill of the guys they bring on the field have just separated the 2 where they've been even here as we now approach the half-hour mark. But maybe with the Hull players in Thackeray and the other guys they've got on the bench, maybe that's the test for them. Can they live with their competitors on the Leeds substitutes ranks?
Well, they've got both Thackeray and Carvell on, and they have 20-year-old Kirk Dixon and 19-year-old Danny Washbrook still to come. This, meanwhile, is Andrew Duneman.
Good run from the hooker as well was needed. Be a true test of the character now from the Rhinos.
That kick from Sinfield is far too deep.
They were bossing this game so easy. Just shows you how it can change. It just got a little bit nasty, didn't it? Bit of handbags at 6 paces, and then lack of control from Leeds. Before you know it, 2 wonderful breaks, bang. Game can change around on a sixpence.
Nothing to show from the last 6 visits to Headingley. Hull, their only win, 18-16, came in April 2001. They did draw here, 10-all 2 years ago. Here they lead with 12 minutes to half-time, and Thackeray.
Great tackle. Chev Walker. Thackeray went looking for him.
This is Graham Hall. Interesting that John Keir playing him in the second row tonight. Richard Hall with the kick over the top.
What a kick.
Great kick too, yes. Fantastic kick from Richard Hall.
Just touched the whitewash. Marcus Bai was... Yep, just did it. He did the right thing, Marcus Bai. He didn't know whether the flag had gone up. He was making sure that no one was going to sneak in and score the try. Well, he was outplayed last week, was Richard Hall. Deacon, the Bradford Bulls halfback, completely put him to one side, but he's certainly come back with a vengeance, hasn't he?
Offside here, Hull. A relieving penalty for Leeds.
That's a massive kick. Well, he had a choice of about 8, didn't he, the official? Carvell giving away a silly penalty, but Take nothing away from it. It was Carvel's pass to Horn that created the first try to Briscoe.
Well, here come Leeds in the shape of Lauatiti now. And Maguire has emerged off the bench as well. And there he is, first touch. And he attacks the line, Maguire. Senior, the dummy half. He is poaching. Such an important substitute, so often for Leeds, Willie poaching. Back it comes, though, to Sinfield. He looks and finds Mathers. Rob Burrow is on his inside. The kick to the corner for Calderwood. Oof.
Just too long.
Good job, the padding was there.
Certainly was. Good job that Rainey was there as well. Got it covered, perhaps. Just a touch too long. Pretty solid defence. Been some big hits out there.
Thackeray plays the ball to Brough, and it was a pass around the shoulder by Kearney. They're appealing that there was a Leeds hand in that. It's over the top to Marcus Pye. He's in touch, is he? Yeah, the ball is anyway now. And Kearney is appealing to referee Richard Silverwood that he'd made the wrong decision there.
Well, he thought it was deliberately, but he's got it wrong. Lauatiti...
Oh, he dropped it. Kearney just dropped it.
Yeah, Lauatiti was nowhere near with his left arm. And you can see there that Poaching said, well, I'm playing on. Oh, great play. Briscoe, body on the line, bang.
Marcus Pye just couldn't get through. A try against St Helens last week for the Papua New Guinean, the first in 3 matches for him.
Now they can Hull get into a good position so that when it does get to the last, they can get on a very good area and force Leeds back. Don't often see that. The scrum actually pushing. Now they're leaning, so he should get a clean one.
Out it comes to Richard Horn.
Eddie, I think the amount of ground Hull make here in these next 5 tackles will give an indication of how much energies they've got in them coming up to half-time, because they just seem that Leeds getting stronger here now as we approach the half-time mark, and I don't know, look, it's gone flat, hasn't it, in the black and whites?
A little bit. Thinking back to Monday when you said that, when Salford got the ball deep in their own in-goal area and they went up the other end and scored, Phil. You do risk it at times.
I can't get it wrong, can't
You do risk it at times.
No, I said I'd be interested to see how far they get, and they've done well, haven't they? They've got up to halfway and over it here now.
With Carvel, but that's the last one.
Surely they'll go for the kick.
It's got to be good from Richard Horn.
Punching into the corner, they've done that. No, it's gone down the throat.
Of Richard Mathers.
Poor kick. Should have been into the corner.
It's good chase, Steve, though. Look, good line. They've trapped him within the 20. That's a decent result for Hull.
Listen, Hull are playing well. Don't worry about that.
This is Calderwood.
They would have been a little bit shaky. And you often see that, you know, Leeds look as though they're in so much control, and then they just go to sleep. Like that. Oh, he went backwards, he says.
Well, London ahead at the JJB Stadium, 20 points to 10. And he's not tackled again, Mark Calderwood. He's still not tackled.
Let's play on.
The referee, I don't think, has got this right. I think that Calderwood lost that ball. There's not much appealing by Hull, but on first look, it looked as though Calderwood had just lost it.
Well, it says play on. And then... No.
Well,
what about that new rule?
Yeah.
I know. If you're committing yourself to the tackle, why do we still use it? Why don't we kick it into touch? Throw it out the window. I don't care what to do with it, just get rid of it.
This is Jones, Buchanan.
Stand!
Now it's with Duneman. Infield it goes to Sinfield. Sinfield is 15 metres away from the Hull line on the second tackle. Duneman to Maguire. Maguire is wrestled to the ground. Duneman, dummy half. Back it comes to Sinfield again. He's involved in everything with Leeds. Jamie Jones Buchanan. They managed to get to him and haul him down. 5 metres away. He plays the ball to Duneman. Back it comes to Rob Burrow. Here now is McKenna. Good hit.
Great tackle by Paul Cook.
Duneman stabs the ball to the in-goal area, and Calderwood bounced the ball, no try.
Good refereeing by Richard Silverwood. He was in a good position, and he could see that it was a A pat down, no try. Many a referee that has said, oh, I'll go to the screen on this one, but he had the confidence. I like to see that. He's refereeing well, Silverwood. I know he's come up with a couple of errors, but I think a lot of errors have come from the fact that the touch judge has been going on and giving him the wrong information.
Eddie, can I just give a big mention to Danny Brough? He's just gone off there after 34 minutes. King's come on now to replace him. Some remarkable effort for him there to play at that level and so well for 34 minutes. Never missed a tackle really in defence. Good effort for him. Let's see him in the second half.
Yes, I'm sure that John Keir will reintroduce him at some stage in this match. He's very effective, as was this fellow, Jamie Thackeray, a week or two ago against St Helens.
It was a swinging arm there from Danny Maguire. Again, Leeds losing their cool.
Here is King, now it's with Richard Horn. The kick comes high and wide, looking for Rayner, who flips it back in field, does well. It's still the last though, Carvel.
Play on.
Yes, it's with Senior. Well, 4.5 minutes to go, he did really well there, Gareth Rayner. Leeds have a penalty here now, but Brian Noble, this is a danger time for Hull. Indeed, it's a danger time for Leeds. Good sides can strike just before half-time, can't they?
Yeah, I think Leeds have a strong chance of doing that now with this penalty. Hull would have been hoping to keep Leeds at their end of the field where they're less dangerous. They've been probing and punching, and Hull's defence has been terrific. Stephen Kearney to the fore. It's a real test of their character now.
And Leeds got a try right on the stroke of half-time at St Helens last week, remember. It didn't do them that much good in the end. This so is Barry McDermott. McDermott, over 350 career appearances now. He left Wigan for Headingley 10 years ago. He's a great favourite. Paul King gave himself up there.
Yeah, he did. He's pretty low to the ground, as we all know, is Rob Burrow. But he would have felt that, and Paul King, barely a split second after he made contact in the face, looked at the official and said, sorry mate, it was a bad one, and he knows it.
Very right in the face.
Very bad indeed, and Shane McMenemy didn't help matters by going for a second bite.
Let's go.
Well, that surprised me that is not being put on report.
Leeds looking to level the scores to half-time.
Two in the tackle.
Another penalty here against Hull. 2 men in the tackle. They tried to steal the ball. They did steal the ball.
Surely they can't keep them out now.
Well, it's a great opportunity for Leeds. That's McDermott. He'll play the ball to Duneman. Back it comes to Sinfield. Here is Burrow, fully recovered. None the worse for that experience. That's Walker.
Well, they've tried again and again that particular move where they come back on the inside on the angle.
Duneman a good run, finds Sinfield, gets the ball to McDermott, and McDermott knocks on with the line, begging.
Beautiful offload. He is not happy. Barry McDermott doesn't score many, but that should have been another. Maybe he just had a little bit of a look in the fact that he was going to the post, but now he could see Briscoe coming to him.
Well, Barry Mack is one of the most popular figures here at Headingley, and he will rue that little mistake. Mind you, it's easy to carp and criticise from the terraces and indeed the commentary box. It's a high-pressure situation these men find themselves in.
There's another good example of Kevin Sinfield's ability. Even when you think you've tackled him, you've stopped the play, you can pop it to a man in support, and Leeds have benefited from that massively so far this season. I'm sure we'll continue to do again tonight.
Tony Smith is on the sideline. He looks a little anxious. Here is Stephen Kearney. Well, Leeds will get another shot at the Hull line. 4 tackles gone, Hull trapped deep inside their own half. Carvel will take tackle number 5. Now the kick has got to be good from Richard Horn. And here it comes, he's looking for a 40-20. He'll find the touchline anyway.
Good thinking, he'll be happy with that. He knows that to just get the defence right. 30 metres away from the Leeds line.
John Keir wants his men to hold out. The referee saw that Shane McMenemy just had a hack at the ball and kicked it about 20-30 metres away from where this scrum will form, has held up the clock. So Leeds will get the full set of 6. It's Marcus Bye. Good tackle though down by Briscoe. Here's Rob Burrow. Scampering run from dummy half, and just at the vital moment lost the grip with the turf. Duneman come down the short side with Ali Lawatiti. Great ball over the top. Chev Walker takes tackle number 3. Duneman. And Duneman fires the ball inside to Maguire. Maguire looking to fool the defence. They won't be fooled on that occasion. Kearney gets the tackle in. It's with Duneman. Wide it goes to Sinfield. Here now is poaching. It's with Senior and Marcus Pye. And Marcus Pye scores for Leeds. Just 20 seconds before the break. And Leeds Rhinos with a chance of turning round. All square after all.
Just when it looked as though they were going to opt for the kick, they kept the ball alive, and yet again, they punched down their left-hand side. Nothing that Blacklock could do there. 2-on-1. He had to take Senior. Great run, and what a pass from poaching that set Senior through. They got the overlap, and Thackeray is giving his teammates a real old telling off. But you've got to test your arm. Beautiful step off the left foot. It's all new ball game now.
Marcus Pye was a Hull player once upon a time in 1996. He scored a couple of tries for them in just 8 appearances. The 11-time Papua New Guinea international and national hero back home, Marcus Pye. And he's a hero here at Headingley as well after that try, because Sinfield here has the opportunity to level the scores at half-time. Sinfield will take his time. This could be a vital kick come the end of the night. This for 12 all. Drifts it over the bar successfully. 12 all it is. There's the half-time siren. Entertaining stuff at Headingley, isn't it? And the South Standers, well, pleased now that they have got back in this game. And Tony Smith making his way from one side of the field to the other to greet his men in the dressing room. He's never lost consecutive games while the Leeds Rhinos coach. And it's 12 all at half-time in this, his 150th game as a head coach in this country. Half-time at Headingley, and it's Leeds 12, Hull 12. All square on this green sward that is the Headingley pitch, and a great first half behind us. And Tony Smith makes his way with Brian McDermott determinedly across the field to watch from our studio again, no doubt, up on the roof here of the South Stand. Great crowd here. Paul Cook hoping to lead his men to victory in the second half. Let's hear from Paul McNicholas out of the Hull side tonight. He's on the sideline though, talking to Bill.
Paul, on the one hand, Hull probably happy to be level at half-time, and on the other hand, to be that close to going in ahead, must be annoyed.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's been a funny start to the game. Leeds were sort of all over us at the start, and we came back, and then Leeds, unfortunately for us, scored right at the death. So hopefully we can come back in the second half and give a good showing of this.
It's been a tremendous defensive effort. Is that going to tell?
Well, it has been a great defensive effort. I hope it doesn't, but only time will tell.
But if you could hold Leeds out early on in the second half, there could be hope.
I think so. I think that's the key. Holding Leeds, winning the wrestle on the ground, holding them out, and just our confidence will grow, and I think we can do it.
12 all, about to get the second half underway. They have never lost consecutive games under Tony Smith. They have not lost consecutive games under John Keir of Hull. They did draw at Leeds, then lost to Warrington in April though. But 12 all at Headingley after the first half is a pretty good start to what they hope will be a memorable night at Headingley. They've
really got to look for field position, Hull. They're going to make sure that they... Ooh, that's a big hit, and it's a fair hit.
Well, Barry McDermott, he does not like the young kids on the block, does he? He still wants to be ruler of the roost.
Boom. And it was fair. Come to daddy.
This is Paul King.
Little doubt in my mind, Tony Smith, the Leeds coach, would have had a word with him saying, listen, do we want to prove how tough we are, or do we want to prove how good a player we are? And that is what we'll see from Leeds, or should see, in the second half.
Cook with the Dab through, gobbled up by Rob Burrow. Duneman. Duneman infield it goes to Richard Mathers.
Second leading Richard.
Here comes Jamie Jones-Buchanan for the Leeds Rhinos. Halted though by Carvel and Thackeray, but he still gets the ball away to McDermott. Did really well. And taking on Paul King. Stood his ground with Kearney. McDermott goes to the deck.
I don't know why Barry bothered with that sidestep then. His best intention really was to run over the top of Paul King. He'd have had more pleasure of doing that than stepping around the side of him.
Sinfield at dummy half. This is Maguire, and he's made the break. Mathers is with him. He has also got Lauatiti, and eventually Graham Horn and McMenemy stop Lauatiti just as he was about to plonk it over the line. Duneman looping past to Sinfield. Oh, he's lost his way. Waits for the support. Maguire dabs the ball towards the in-goal area. Blacklock takes control, and Blacklock does well to run it back 10 metres.
Certainly does. He got one right in the mush for his cause as well. Duneman didn't miss him. Well, Kevin Sinfield had the ball. He was looking for support. There was no second phase. That could have been and should have been a try.
Gareth Rayner will play the ball. This is Tommy Saxton again. Offloads the ball to McMenemy. Now they've got plenty of numbers on the left of Hull. This is King. He tries to get over that way. Gets the ball away to Richard Horn. Here now is Carvel. Mark Calderwood asking for reinforcements defensively to go out that way. Hull come this way though. Good run again. And now it's with Horn. There's the kick down the line. And it just finds touch.
Well, I mentioned the fact that they need field position, and that's good thinking there by the young Hull skipper. Gave himself plenty of room, under no pressure whatsoever. Let's just get it into this corner. He'll know, and John Keir, his coach, also knows that Leeds came up with quite a few errors in that first half. So they can force it. Maybe they can come up with a football.
I wonder if Hull will look to their former Leeds men, the likes of Rayner, Dowes and Carvel, to provide the X factor in this match. Will they come back and haunt their former club?
Well, I'm sure that John Keir will be looking to the two halfbacks, Cook and Horn. You know, they've combined fairly well throughout this game, but if they're going to have any chance of taking the spoils tonight, they've got to really, really get to top form.
Duneman feigned to go left, went right instead to Lauatiti. Lauatiti and Kearney on the same field in Super League. It's mouth-watering, isn't it? This is Duneman waiting at dummy half for Leeds. Still inside their own half. Poaching tries to get them over, finds Ward, who is stopped on halfway. That's the last tackle. Good defensively from Hull. Duneman now scampering away. He's got Poaching with him. The pass, though, was not good, and is gobbled up by Paul Cook.
I'm not surprised that they look a little bit shocked, and it's very quiet, this Headingley crowd, mainly due to the fact that they should have been looking for field position themselves. They should have been kicking into it. Why do they try to force it on the last?
Here goes Thackeray. Had a massive match, Jamie Thackeray, against St Helens recently, and he was pushed then by Danny Maguire, who protests his innocence to Mr Silverwood.
No doubt about it. Silly penalty. And not surprisingly, they'll go for the two. Tony Smith in the warmth of our studio. Great view.
Super view. And Danny Maguire on the bench tonight has just had a little second push, and there's a chance here then for Paul Cook to add an extra couple of points to the Hull total.
Eddie, and it's clearly, isn't it, the two different strategies of both teams. Hull want to stop the game whenever they possibly can. Richard Horn's kicks have been fantastic. He knows if he can find the sideline, it gives his team a 20-second rest that they wouldn't get if the ball stayed in play. Likewise, you know, penalty kick at goal, perhaps another minute and a half rest before they have to work again, and those little breaks help, because as a squad of 17, they probably can't compete with Leeds tonight.
The wind is at Paul Cook's back. That's why they're risking it from 40 metres out, giving it a good thump, and the Hull supporters behind those posts celebrate, because Hull have the lead again. It's 14 points to 12 at Headingley, courtesy of the boot of Paul Cook.
Sweet as a nut. No expression on the face of their coach, but after a dodgy start in the opening 15 minutes, he will be more than impressed. Okay, they allowed Leeds to get in there just before the break. What a kick.
Perfect, wasn't it, from Cook? Absolutely perfect. And now with their team behind, the Leeds Southstanders find their voice as Sinfield gets us underway again. Hits it high because he knows it'll hang in the breeze. Underneath it, McMenemy. Senior leads the race to get to him.
Spoke about the import, that's going to be a penalty.
It is. Keith Senior lying in the ruck. And Hull actually doing well then to win that penalty, and that was a penalty one.
He's supposed to roll away to the side. He tried to go in the opposite direction, and it's just niggling away at this Rhinos outfit.
Here's Thackeray. Great run from Thackeray. Gets the ball away to Richard Horne, and an important tackle from Duneman. London increased the lead at the JJB Stadium as Thackeray charges forward again, but is robbed by Danny Ward.
Well, it's now going to appeal it to the referee. You are allowed to pinch the ball one-on-one. Someone should get the message out to him that that is the rule. It was a good effort. Maybe he was complaining to the official that he thought it was a high shot, but it was great skills. Thackeray win that little offload. Now they've got to make sure that their defence is solid. They've got to start hurting Leeds now.
As Willie Poaching takes it up, goes as far as Thackeray, Carvel, McMenemy, and they push him back a bit. Goes to ground. Duneman to Ward. Good tackle by Kearney, helped out also by Paul King. Here's Maguire, he finds Burrow. Burrow increases the tempo.
Got through and working the defence as Paul Cook there. Because he has to go pretty low on Rob Burrow.
Duneman.
Interesting to see how Tony Smith has thrown Danny Maguire into that first receiver position, whereas early in the game it was Kevin Sinfield that was operating in that department.
Well watched by Sean Briscoe, that kick that was looking for Mark Calderwood out wide. Here now comes Gareth Rayner for Hull. Brian Noble, is it going as you thought it might?
I think Hull's new game plan is simple. Let's get it on. Thackeray's piled in there in the middle, and that's a really harsh play to be. You know, it's giving away field position to Leeds, but they're not giving it away. They're running out of dummy half. They're kicking touch lines. They're trying to slow down. Any half break, they'll find an offload. That's what's been troubling Leeds. Leeds need to stay patient. I know it's a hard call for them, but they've got to stay patient. As soon as they establish field position, they've got too many dangerous players.
Thackeray with a good run to the 40-metre line. Paul King is there waiting at dummy half. Here is Richard Horne. A crossfield kick, and that could be dangerous, straight into Mark Calderwood's hands eventually. The chase will have to be good, and is. That was a terrific one there in defence from Yeaman.
Did he ever? Calderwood would have felt that. They've certainly stepped up onto the plate for this second half.
Some really close encounters in Super League this weekend. Bradford Saints is another. Sunday this week, notice, Sunday at 5 we'll be at Hodsall. A change to our advertised schedule, but we're on Sunday this week, 5 o'clock, Sky Sports 2.
Interesting, isn't it? You know, Hull have really stepped up, as we mentioned, but it's in the forwards. They're more ferocious. Leeds are just trying to be too fancy.
Brilliant offload by Maguire to Lauatiti, though.
It needs more hard work from the forwards in the Rhino pack.
This is Maguire again. He's seen plenty of it this second half so far. High hanging kick in the wind. And Walker dropped it, but it went back to McKenna. Hull have clocked off, have they? Kick in field by Calderwood looking for Burrow. Oh, and it's a try for Rob Burrow.
It certainly is.
Just trying to see who the player was who lost it. I think it was Blacklock who didn't tidy up at the back for Hull. It was.
Offside on the grounding, please.
And the kick from Calderwood, well, he's a mile onside.
Yeah, no doubt about that. They've fallen for the killer punch. They relaxed. Thought that on the last he was going to be there. Blacklock made a right meal of it. Why on earth he tried to opt to pick up this football when it was bouncing all over? It should have been kicked should have been belted way into touch. Dead in goal anywhere but in the hands of this fella. And that is confirmation that Barrow has taken Leeds into the lead. It is a shocker. When you're running backwards like that and you know that someone's zoning in on you, you just make sure. Okay, it would have been a dropout from underneath the sticks, but this is a very, very bad mistake. And it could cost them a game that it looked as though they were taking control, Hull. It can just change in an instant, no doubt about it. That's TRY.
Bob Connolly is the video referee. He's had a good long look at that. Didn't see much doubt. Let's see what his decision is, and it is a try. Leeds back in front again. The kick from Calderwood was inventive, and the speed from Burrow was there for all to see. What a season this young man's having. 15 tries now.
A little bit of deja vu, wasn't it? The high kick straight into it, and they held off. Just let it bounce away. Quick thinking from Calderwood. He knew it was a no problem, but what an error.
Sinfield then to add the extras. No problems. And Leeds are ahead by 18 points to 14 now. A little Rob Burrow. This is his 130th Leeds appearance. He made his debut in the 18-16 defeat by Hull here in 2001. Hull's last win on this ground.
It just goes to show as well that, you know, you read the game. Okay, the ball has gone out to the right-hand side, but Burrow has got the speed. He could read that if the kick was going to be in, he was going towards the sticks. The rest of the team maybe could have hung back, but he didn't.
Danny Brough restarts, high kick, that'll be caught a bit in the wind, that'll give it extra length. Mathers underneath it, here's poaching. So 4-point ball game, Leeds with their noses in front, and maybe an important change by John Keir to bring Danny Brough back on.
Well, he was busy in that first half. Certainly created a lot of problems for the Leeds defence. Interesting to see how the Rhinos now will accept this game. I mentioned the fact that they needed more work in the forwards. Certainly good run from Chris McKenna.
It's with Sinfield, and it loops into the arms of Burrow, and he bullets the pass to Walker, who actually turned that into a good pass because it was dipping all the time. Halted by Cook and Rayner. Sinfield again. It's been Hull's second half in terms of possession. Leeds on the scoreboard though. Maguire pumps the ball downfield. That will hang in the breeze for Briscoe. Oh, and just bounces in front of him. Good chase. Oh,
that was a
bit
heavy shot as well from poaching.
This is Ewan Dowes. Ewan Dowes' 43rd consecutive appearance for Hull. Great record considering all the injury problems they've had over the past year or so. The kick from Danny Brough. He was looking for a 40-20 then. The ball is going to stand up in the in-goal area, and Mathers will have to run this ball back. The chase arrives. Graham Horn and Brough trying to force him back. Good work.
Great play. Massive kick there from Danny Brough. Turning them around.
Senior.
They're not giving in this whole side, but I'm going to say Keith Senior, early in the first half, his blockbusting runs created all sorts of problems.
Calderwood is trapped by McMenemy and Kearney.
This has been a tremendous scrap, Eddie.
Lauatiti brushes Richard Horn away. Couldn't get away though from Tom Saxton as well. Duneman to Danny Ward. Grounded on halfway, the last tackle. Wait for the boot from Sinfield. Here it is. Turning Briscoe around. It's a great kick. Briscoe to run it back. Oh, gives it to Rayner. Risky business, but Rayner sees gaps ahead of him. Oh, an important tackle by Burrow.
Certainly was. There was only Richard Mathers back there. on the defensive line.
Good work in defence though from Burrow and Willie Poaching. King.
Kicking game has been superb from both sides in the second half.
Doubts.
And it gets back to that old story. Which side will have the petrol in the last quarter?
Great ball from Horn to Blacklock. He gives it on to Kearney. Bounce ball over the shoulder to McMenemy. Here is Tommy Saxton. Dances inside Lautiti. Can't get away from Marcus Pye. Last tackle here for Hull. McMenemy will look for Horn rather. And then Cook. Angled kick across the face. Straight into the arms of Senior. The danger signals here are for Hull.
Good take, good position there by the big centre. Had to be as well. It was forward. No doubt about it from Stephen Kearney. I think you would have heard the South stand. They're absolutely ballistic against the official.
Duneman to Poaching. On it goes to Burrow. Duneman waits. It's with McKenna. Tackling again by Yeaman and by Paul King. That was on Chev Walker. Here is Ryan Bailey.
Solid defences, maybe just a chip over the top, or will Leeds try the power play?
Duneman to Sinfield. A high kick which will hold in the breeze. This is a tester for Briscoe. It's bounced off Mathers and it went forward off Mathers.
It's only a knock on. And they think it's play on, but the official has already blown the whistle. This will be the turnover. Well, did he get a hand to it? Well, I would think Briscoe certainly touched it first. Could have been deemed as a knock-on from the Hull full-back. Maybe just a little bit lucky to get away with that one.
Deemed as a knock-on by Leeds. That's why Hull are in possession, but Kearney taking a big risk. McMenemy tidies up for him. Brough, infield it goes to Richard Horn. Short ball then. Nearly through Ewan-Dowes. Brough again. Horn onto Cook. Sinfield sticking to him like glue.
There's a lot of players out there beginning to feel the intensity of this match. Quite a few of them struggling to get back into a defensive line and all looking to get a little bit of breath.
No matter how hard Hull are trying, they just can't seem to get any possession close to, or even any pressure on the Leeds side near their own line. The early carries from players like Marcus Pye and Keith Senior pretty quickly get them out to that danger zone, and the game from the majority of the last 5 or 10 minutes really has had Hull under pressure. Hull really just need to try and somehow hang on in there, Eddie. There may be a break coming for them if they can be patient.
Hang on in there. That will be what John Keir is saying to his players, I'm sure, as Bailey with the ball up around his head. Look, somehow manages to hang on under all that pressure.
Did well to keep on to that football as well.
Maguire.
We know the qualities of this man playing the ball. Danny Maguire has certainly got the pace.
Sinfield has as well. And the ball to McKenna. Important tackle. Quick play the ball. Duneman. Sinfield down the line. Briscoe tidies up again.
Got in the line job and did very well. Impressed me throughout the last couple of seasons, Sean Briscoe. His positional sense is quite good.
Wigan clawing their way back into the match against London. Who has the most petrol in the tank, there or here? Do you see any signs, Brian Noble, of a team that's tiring, perhaps fatally?
I just see a few signs about field position. Hull are playing from their own half a lot and finding great kicks from Richard Horn that's given them the chance to get to the other end of the field. Leeds' kicks are coming because they're on their front foot. Little short stabs down the short side, and eventually that'll pay dividends if it stays the same way, because there'll be an error, there'll be a fumble, or there'll be a handover with Leeds in the right part of the field. And there we see a great example of it again. Richard Horn's kicks, that's the first one he's kicked dead. In the range, his range has been brilliant, but at least they get a chance to restart. They're restarting on their own Leeds' 20-metre there.
Talking about kicking the ball, I'm told that at Wigan the difference between the two sides is the goal kicking of Paul Sykes tonight so far. Danny Tickle has only managed one conversion. Sykes has managed 4. It's 4 tries, 5 from Sykes, I'm told. It's 4 tries to 3 in Wigan's favour, but the goal kicking of London turning the screw there. What's going to happen here? Because it's 18-14 to the champions, the Leeds Rhinos, against Hull, who have begun the weekend in third place. Will they stay in third place? It'll open the door for Bradford on Sunday against St Helens. If Hull lose here to claim third. For St Helens, of course, they're hoping for a Hull victory, so as they can close the gap on Leeds at the top. It's a fantastic race this year. And this is now the last tackle for Leeds, and it's with Ryan Bailey, and he humps the ball high. Well, that's unusual. Looking for Senior, and he finds it! And Senior! Well, he turns a hopeful kick from Ryan Bailey into 4 points. And it's his second try of the night for Keith Senior. And that could be game, set and match to the Rhinos.
Well, he's not noted for the high bomb, Ryan Bailey, but he will get all the accolades from his coach, Tony Smith. They applied the pressure, and he said, I'm going to have a go here. And it's absolutely inch perfect. They have paid the price. Burrows scored the try from the high kick, and they failed to defuse it. Nathan Blacklock, yet again, he's not had a good game as the Hull right winger, and Senior, sheer strength, all that hard work in the gymnasium, that's the reason why he took them, beat them for the ball, and that, I think, should seal it.
Well, maybe, because it's the first time this evening that there's been more than 6 points between these two clubs. And Kevin Sinfield here will try and add the extras into this quite stiff breeze.
It's amazing, isn't it? Two very, very high kicks have created the 2 tries in the second half. And it just shows you the importance of it. You've got to get men there. You've got to get men there to defuse. And on that particular kick, there was nobody coming into Shepherd to allow Blacklock to have any chance to take it.
It's kicked perfectly tonight, Kevin Sinfield. This for an 8-point lead. A 10-point lead. They had the 8, they've now got 10. 24 points to 14. Leeds Rhinos.
Well, you would suspect that on their home ground, Leeds, with the fanatical fans giving them support. But there's a man that probably has broken the game as far as I'm concerned. But the killer punch has come from those 2 high kicks.
You have to have a bit of sympathy for Hull. They've conceded 2 fifth tackle tries, and really, you know, the team thing, well, we've done enough here, we've held them out. They were, in many ways, you could say, fortuitous kicks as well, really, weren't they, from players? But I suppose Leeds will say, no, we practiced that. They come off time and time again for us.
Well, it's not the first time that a prop forward has come up with an important kick for Leeds in matches against Hull. You might remember, if you were with us in June of 2001, a drop goal that was scored by another prop forward, Danny Ward, who was out there tonight. It was always a source of some amusement to his Leeds colleagues that he actually scored the drop goal. It was a source of amusement to him as well, but it was highly important on the night, and maybe that bomb from Bailey equally important this time.
Well, I'm sure that it'll tell quite a few people if they stay in front, take the valuable 2 points, keep them at the top of the table.
Charge down. Be 6 to go, and Keith Senior has it. Danny Brough went for the ball, and Senior now is looking for a hat-trick, and in this mood he might just get it.
Clever play as well by Senior. You know, as he took the ball behind all his players, he was shouting at his players saying, I know we've got back to 6. They were all trying to tell him.
Great ball, Gareth Ellis, Mathers on his inside. It is game, set and match now. Mathers with the try to stretch the Leeds lead.
Simple break, a very tired Hull defence. And one of the great sides that we've seen throughout 15 years of Super League. Leeds, they are the champions. World Challenge champions as well. And Ellis makes the break. See how he ran on the angle, wasn't straight. Again, Kevin Sinfield, the provider. And the fullback, support on the inside. Watch the finesse here. Little dummy, pulls in the man to him. the reason why Ellis makes the break, he comes back on the angle towards the centre, and the support play was superb. They're enjoying it now.
Eddie, yet again, though, the look on the fifth tackle. I mean, Hull went to charge down the kick, and it falls into the arms of Keith Senior. They've had 3 bits of luck there on each of those fifth tackle options.
They have, but Richard Mathers with that try, as Kevin Sinfield prefers to take the conversion attempt. Mathers, 11 tries in all competitions so far, 8 now in Super League. It's already his personal best. And Hull, they look a little bit dispirited here. It's a very important period of the season that they're facing. They played Bradford Bulls last week. They play Wigan next week. And John Keir saying in the build-up to this match, you have to beat the best to win things. Well, they didn't beat Bradford, and it looks unlikely that they're going to beat Leeds. They beat Saints recently, of course.
What a game this guy's had. Provided the 3 passes to get them 3 touchdowns.
Adds the extras, Kevin Sinfield, 30 points to 14. Leeds ahead, and now it's their game to lose.
We were always wondering who would have that extra energy in that final quarter. And like we've seen so often in this Leeds side, they can be shaken at times, but they have that wonderful ability to take the opportunity. So much quality, so much class, and that was a real classy try. Well worked, superbly finished.
Gareth Carvell went in a little wildly then on Gareth Ellis. This is Duneman, and here is Bailey. Duneman again. Rob Burrow. That was touched by Saxton. Back to 0 again. Walker steps out of one challenge, can't get away from the next, by Paul Cook. This is Sinfield. McKenna. McMenemy lost his head for a moment, and McKenna lost his.
He lunged. It's a troubling deck from the when you're doing that flat attack. Didn't miss, did he? When you do it extremely flat like that, and the loose forward Shane McMenemy certainly had Chris McKenna virtually before he had the ball. Certainly a high one.
Well, Shane McMenemy, so often the unsung hero.
He's had a good season, hasn't he? He's a workhorse, but just a lack of concentration there.
Leeds looking to kill Hull off completely here with McDermott. Keeping those legs pumping.
Well, they were looking for the try, and he remembered in the first half, knocked on with the try line at his mercy.
Here's Maguire. Leeds with their tails up now. This is Ellis.
And this is where the skill of Kevin Sinfield and, of course, Rob Burrow, Danny Maguire should start to cut them apart.
Duneman. Burrow. They have an overlap wide. Couldn't feed the ball out there, though. And McKenna picks himself up, plays it to Duneman again. Andrew Duneman. Just short. 3 tackles remaining, 2 tackles remaining, rather. Maguire, Sinfield, Mathers, Senior, the hat-trick! There will be no comeback from Hull now.
It's a walk in the park. The heads are down in the black and white camp. Ronnie the Rhino likes it. Superb play. The dummy in the pass. Wasn't that superb? Richard Mathers. When you've got a scoreline and you're in control of the game, you can do things like this. You can take the gamble. Sucks in the winger. It was virtually just a walk-in. Quality all the way through, Brian Noble.
Absolutely, Leeds are showing why they're such a tougher competition. They've managed to pull away with this game, and there's still 10 minutes to go. The challenge for Hull now is to find themselves the ball, find themselves in field position, and resurrect their pride. You know, I don't think this scoreline reflects the game. It's been a really, really tough game. Both sides have said, let's get it on, and they've done just that. Leeds will be pleased because their physical prowess, the kicking game, as we said, they established field position in the second half, so they're on the front foot, and it was always going to pay dividends towards the back end of the game.
Fourth try of the second half, the third try for Keith Senior in the match, and Senior has now scored 2 hat-tricks against Hull in his days at Leeds, the last one in a playoff tie here in 2002. Sinfield, for the first time tonight, miscues the conversion.
Brian, with your Great Britain hat on, Sinfield outstanding this season.
He's been very good, hasn't he? And he's become a threat with the ball. He's taken the line on a whole lot more. He finds an offload, and he's got good vision. I think if you ask Kevin Sinfield, is he a better player than last year, he'd say yes as well.
Yes, he's been the standout performer in Super League 10 for a lot of people this year, Kevin Sinfield. And Tony Smith, it looks like 150 and a victory as British coach, or a coach in the British game. Marcus Bai. Well, there's 10 minutes left, and Hull might be on the end of a hiding here. And as Brian Noble said, Phil, the scoreline doesn't really reflect Hull's efforts.
Well, maybe not at this stage, but you know, we've talked about the wonderful boxing on Sky Sports this weekend. I think there's a bit of a boxing analogy with what Leeds do to their opponents in the first half of games. Very often it's like the body blows that they put in on their opponent. You can't see the energy that saps out of somebody, but I think that's what the effect that Leeds have, because if you look at their second half performances this season, they've racked up far more points in the second half than they have in the first, because of some of the stuff they do in the way that they move the defensive side around, their offloads eventually tire their opponents more in the second half than the first, and that cumulative effect wearing down their opponents pays off over the 80 minutes.
It was a crucial try that Marcus Bai scored right at the stroke of half-time as well, wasn't it?
Great work there by Danny Maguire, chip over the top. Okay, good position by the fullback Briscoe, but he hammered him into the ground.
Kirk Dixon there with that little run. This now is Gareth Rayner.
You talk about a team getting tired. When you have in your armoury the little Rob Barrow, is a nuisance, isn't he? He just keeps going at them.
Danny Bruff's gone for a 40-20 here. Just didn't have the oomph behind it to make it to the sideline. Mathers is able to pick up. He finds Mark Calderwood. And Calderwood was nearly through. Sinfield again, dummy half. Marcus Bai.
Good work by the winger coming in, taking a little bit of work off the forwards. Obviously they're piling up now. They want to get on the scoreboard. This man especially. He's got through some hard work since he was brought on by his coach, Tony Smith.
Burrow to Sinfield again. Here is Gareth Ellis. Richard Horne with the tackle on him. Burrow the dummy half this time. Sinfield. Mathers. Poaching. Wide it goes to Chev Walker. Tried to get the ball away to Calderwood.
Raises the arm, says to his winger, sorry Mark. But again, 34-14. You can try those sort of things. They know there's no way in the world that Hull can get back into this game. He took a while to get into it, coming back from injury, but he's got stronger as the game has progressed.
Just a little worry for the Hull coach. Said that it's not crucial to their season. That will come later on when we get towards playoff times, but he wanted a better performance from his men. I think he has got that, to be fair. I really do.
Without a doubt.
Oh, that's a great ball. Blacklock went without it. He had it and then lost it.
Well, it's been the story of this second half for the Black and Whites, is in a good position.
Calderwood to Jamie Jones-Buchanan. Thackeray with the shoulder, doesn't stop him. Burrow, Sinfield. It'll be play on. Thackeray has it for Hull. Little Rob Burrow was underneath him there. He didn't like it. Thackeray didn't like it.
Well, It's amazing. Rob Barrow has thrown a couple of little punches in there. He's a tough hombre, isn't he? I think Jamie Thackeray's saying, hang on, was that really Barrow that did that to me? And then follows one in. Well, you've given me one, so I'll give you one back. Though it's a little bit hard for Thackeray. He's got the jumper. Maguire over the top, certainly went high, and then dumped here, lost the ball, throws one, and then look at that, they pull the jumper over his head and say, right, there's a coconut, try to hit it, bang.
It's a knock-on.
I love this game.
It's a knock-on by Thackeray, so it's a scrum and head and feet.
No, I don't know how they come up with that, Eddie. How on earth Hull has been feeding the scrum there is anybody's guess.
Okay, movement.
Well, that was surely a knock-on.
Yeah, well, Thackeray lost it.
The referee, and that's another lose, and that's the knock-on. Barry McDermott stands his ground, looks him straight in the eye, says, I'm having none of it.
You've a long way to go, son, in this game. I've been there, done that. And listen to the crowd, Barry, they chant. And watch Barry go for another run.
Well, he doesn't like the young upstarts, he says. Well,
It's on.
it's a bit silly, this.
Well, it eats up the clock.
Well, the referee better be careful because he might just lose control of this.
Take your players away, please. Take your players away, please. Take your players away.
It was bubbling. It was boiling. Someone had thrown a lot more wood onto the fire, and Richard Silverwood's trying his damnedest to telling them to get back, get away from each other. Well, it was silly for Marcus Bai to become involved. Saxon, he tried to have a swing, then he had the elbow. Bai said, I don't like it. They don't like it. He hits the deck.
Penalty to Leeds.
Kick it into the corner, and let's see have a run from big Barry McDermott.
There he is. He's taken on Thackeray toe-to-toe. Burrow poaching. Senior threw his arms to Marcus Bai. You know, there's a conference taking place in London about trouble on the pitches. We might not see much of this in the future if certain people get their way.
I hope not. It's part of the game, isn't it? As long as it's controlled.
I don't know how you can stop it. Maguire. Sinfield, dummy half. This is Mathers, halted by Kearney.
Again, that very flat pass.
Last tackle here.
Ooh, problem for Richie Mathers.
Burrow tries to slide the kick in, and it's picked up in defence. Brian Noble, you're enjoying this, aren't you? Two of your rivals for top of the table slugging it out right to the end.
They used to sell crowds at the Coliseum for things like this as well, Eddie. It's fantastic. Let's not get rid of it. There's just been a bit of vigour, a few handbacks with certain people, but that's why rugby league's so great. You get the opportunity to get on with your opposite number.
Thackeray pass dribbles all along the ground and is picked up over on that far side.
Good work by Thackeray there. It was a very delicate step off the right foot.
It was Kirk Dixon who got to the pass. And the slip ball is manna from heaven for Barry. Couple of minutes remaining. Leeds have opened up a 9-point gap on Hull. And how significant might that be come playoff time in late September, October? Gareth Ellis, Danny Maguire, Keith Senior, back to Maguire. Leeds are toying with them now. Poaching. Burrow. Sinfield.
It's at this point, Teddy. Oh, that's a bad
Off the
mistake.
backside of Keith Senior. Jamie Jones Buchanan. Another flick pass to Sinfield.
He has been outstanding. The lead skipper been everywhere. And this is a point where Leeds really should be putting on set moves.
Mathers' kick to the corner is straight down the throat of Nathan Blacklock. Right, let's find out who's the man of the match. Dave Hadfield.
We thought Danny Brough was particularly good in the first half of Hull. Kevin Sinfield has been good throughout. Great little cameo at the end there from Barry McDermott. But we couldn't look past in the end. A fellow who scored 3 tries, set one up, and was the only person on the park who knew that Ryan Bailey was going to kick. We've got to go tonight for Keith Senior as our man of the match.
Keith Senior then, the man of the match. We'll get the Tissot watch. There he is. He's just conceded a penalty, having said that. But he's got the watch, he's got the win, and Leeds are 4 clear at the top of the table again. But for how long?
There's Bailey that threw the right arm.
Yeah, didn't look much wrong with Senior's challenge, did
No, it was all right. It was Bailey that went in very, very high. But we haven't finished. We're in the last minute. I reckon there's one big bell ringer coming up. Oh, he was there for it. He was hunting. He wanted to get a big hit in on Kearney, but he said, I'll have the ball instead.
All over at Wigan, and London have won. 22 points to 18. Significant victory for the Broncos. Ian Millwood's first home game in charge ends with a defeat. Here at Headingley, Leeds march on at the top. 20 seconds to go. Burrow. They know there's not long now left.
Back to 6 again.
This is Ryan Bailey. He's inviting Richard Horne to come to him.
And they came. I don't know whether he conquered. Bailey said, come on, I'll take you on.
Referee's blown his whistle. I think there's going to be a penalty here for Leeds.
Listen, okay, time's nearly up. Sort your discipline out. Listen, sort your discipline out, or I'll sort it out for you.
Penalty to Leeds, even though the 80 minutes is up. This kick has got to be taken.
They'll go for a, surely a bomb. No, they're going to go for a bomb.
Go for 2. This will be the last kick of the match.
A tough player, isn't he, Ryan Bailey? He's had a big game.
Well, he upset a few in the Tri-Nations last year, didn't he, for Great Britain?
Yeah, he's the type of player we need against the Kiwis and the Australians. Will not take a backward step. And you saw there, he just stood there and said, come on, have a go at me.
Well, they've elected to take the kick at goal, and the kicking tee is missing, so here it comes at last.
They should let Ryan Bailey have this kick.
Yes, or Danny Ward.
Ryan Bailey, yeah, he's out there.
Well, I'd give it to Barry McDermott. Why not?
Yes, it doesn't mean anything, does it, in the context of the match?
Well, he got the possession, remember, when Kearney dropped it.
Well, that's interesting. He has not elected to go for goal, did he? He can't do that, surely. Surely he cannot do that.
No, now that he has, if he has said to the referee, right, I'm not going for goal, then he can award the try.
Well, the referee indicated to the touch judges that the call had been made, and he waved them to the post.
Well, if that is the case, then it cannot be a try, surely.
It should be a try, Eddie, because that's the thought that goes in. That's preparation. We saw last week the short kick-off tactics they use at St Helens.
I'm not sure that this is legal.
It depends what he said to the referee. Did he say, I'm kicking for goal? Well, he must have done. I mean, Rob Burrow thinks he scored.
The touch judges are behind
the post. The referee signalled them to go behind the posts.
Well, I can remember Michael Cronin doing this many, many years ago in Australia, but he actually said to the referee, I am not going to go for the goals. I am going to tap this. He did. The opposition stood back expecting the goal. He tapped it, went over and scored a try.
Well, why did the referee send the touch judges behind the post then?
Well, it has to be that the captain has not said, I'm going for a short one. I am not going to go for goals. Maybe the referee has just forgotten.
It's not allowed. Rob Burrow is denied, so are Leeds. We have another penalty, this time to Hull.
He could only get away with it by saying to the referee, I'm not going to go for the goals, and therefore the referee would not have sent the touch judges underneath the post.
I wouldn't have thought so. And Kevin Sinfield is now protesting his innocence to Richard Silverwood. Now then, look, he asked him.
Yeah.
Well, did he ask him? Did he ask him? The referee indicated a kick for goal, but did Kevin Well, it's something that we can ask later, maybe.
There's a mistake there. He's tapped the ball and kicked it straight out. That should be the end of the game. He took the tap and then kicked it out.
Yeah, it's over.
Well, they took a tap and then kicked it out.
Yes.
All right, OK. Well, it's ended a little shambolically, but it should not detract from a very fine performance from the Leeds Rhinos. And indeed, Hull played their part in a thoroughly entertaining encounter. The Rhinos have won it. They march on at the top of the table. There's lots to talk about at the end of this.